In a world destroyed by a man who has a tentacle as a hand, two Solstice warriors will rise up to take down the monstrosity known as the Fleshmancer. And on this journey, we're going to be thrown like a baseball, kicked like a football, and somehow break interdimensional time. To complete 100%, I'm going to have to gamble at the most rigged tavern game ever invented, scrap with Medusa, or well the robot version, venture deep underwater to recover the moon, and then casually use the Speedball network to head into space. So stick around and I'll show you 100% of the Sea of Stars.
Valerie or Zale? Valerie or Zale? Oh, okay. We're gonna go with Zale.
The story begins in a world that has already been plagued by a man named the Fleshmancer. And on the island of Evermist, two young children of the Solstice are beating the crap out of their friend and a scarecrow.
It's a straw man. Okay. Watch out, it's casting a spell. How is a straw casting a spell, my guys? Combo, Solstice Strike.
But the scarecrow was no match for the might of Valir and Zale. However, a bell then chimed, which was the signal that someone was returning from a mission from outside of the village.
Moon Cradle.
And the first thing I did was meet up with a farmer who said his sole purpose was to feed the entire village.
Dude, you've not done very well, my guy. I'm just saying.
After I berated the farmer, we found out who had returned to the village from their secret mission and met Brugaves and Erlina for the first time. Erlina and Brugaves are also children of the Solstice, like Zale and Valir, unlucky Garl, and they wanted to show off a bit.
Holy.
Sadly, they weren't allowed to stick around for long though, as Headmaster Maureen steps in and told them to stop their babysitting, with Erlina giving a slight hint she wasn't too happy about it. And that's when Garl spotted it was a full moon, and for Solstice warriors, that meant their power got heightened. So they set out for the Forbidden Cavern to see if their magic was ready.
Oh, crap, does everyone sleep together? Oh no.
And Valir prepared herself to open the door.
You got this, Valerie.
Yeah, it took me a while to get everyone's name right, my bad.
Oh crap, she's done it. I can only see this going bad. Screw it, let's go.
However, we were stopped in our tracks as there was monsters in front of us, so we hid behind some rocks before deciding to turn tail and run. Issue was, we had already been spotted.
It's blocking our path. Oh well, you guys, what did you expect?
So the only option left was to fight.
Dude, you're attacking with a cup. No wonder we're gonna lose. Zale, watch out. Oh, Gale, no. Oh my god. Is his eye gone?
Garl's eye was gone, but luckily the headmaster heard the bell chime and came to the rescue, stopping the pain for Garl. However, his eye was a goner. Looking at the bright side though, because we were able to get the caverns open, the headmaster said it was time for Zale and Valir's training. That did mean we weren't going to see Garl for a very long time. As we found out, training is gonna take years, so a few parting words were said, and then everyone made their way over to the platform and up to Zenith Academy we went.
Oh, we gotta scrap the headmaster.
Sadly, we weren't going to scrap the headmaster, but he did tell us what we would be doing for a few years. Weaving. Yep, goddamn weaving. And it was to make some stupid enchanted piece of fabric all Solstice warriors used.
I can't believe we're gonna use years of weaving.
There was a catch. They've got to train until they spit blood, and then and only then can they make the piece of fabric worthy of the very stars.
Well, I'm bored.
Don't blame your pal.
And so they trained, and they wove for weeks, and then for months. Wait.
However, there was one more thing that was popping up more and more in the conversations around the academy.
Just one, known as the Dweller of Woe.
The Dweller of Woe is an enemy that needed to be cleansed by Solstice warriors before they became a thing called World Eaters, and once we were ready, we would all take it on together.
A few days later, a sound in the night.
And we went out to check what that sound was, and apparently it was Garl. He had made it up here, and being the OG he is, he sent up cookies, which was packed with jam from the legendary Celestial Willow tree. So we didn't let them go to waste.
Bro, what a view. Just to have it. So they trained, and they wove for years?
They both had finally created their magical pieces of fabric, so it was time to go see the headmaster, with the headmaster Maureen going, right, now I'm done with you, time for you to seek out some Elder Mist fellow. That's when the game decided to go through the basics of combat with me. Also, I unlocked my first achievement of the game, Verifying Glass.
Let's go! That is great.
Before we left, we had to say our final vows, and Zale had now become a dancing blade, while Valir was now a battle monk. Then we were told to jump into our final trial.
Let's jump. Wait. Go. Bop. Oh my god. How far we... What? Minecraft logic.
Now, like many JRPGs, there's puzzles I've got to solve, and I'm not the brightest bulb in the shed, but when I see a lever, I'll pull it without hesitation. And then somehow I got into my first real fight, and started to parkour my way through the trial,
I was on a tightrope, what the hell?
making it to the first boss room.
Down it goes. Whoa, there's a big robot. Exam mode engaged. Brace yourselves. Okay, dude. Let's just assemble him. Power! Kamehameha!
With the Weir being resistant to magic, so it was time to start whacking, and it was just a training bot that wanted me to know enemies would be resistant to certain things. And he was down in no time, which is when I gained my first level up, and gave Zale +2 attack and +8 hit points to Valir. With the final trial passed, that meant it was time to search out for the Elder Mist. But before leaving, we were forced into a leaving ceremony, and for some reason, Gar wasn't there to see us off. So we just had to take on our trauma of the Forbidden Cavern without him. And this time I was able to navigate the start without losing an eye.
No!
Also taking a few enemies out on the way, as well as finding a glowing scroll which unlocked a new combo skill for Zale and Valir called Mending Light. We were stopped in our tracks however by a broken bridge, so it was time to go around, to where we found a conveniently placed campfire. And what do campfires normally mean? Yep, that's right, a boss.
Uh-oh. Oh my god. What is that?
So, I got to work.
Right. Solstice strike. Boom. 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 Hammy. Ah! And heal. No, not you. Uh-oh. She's going down. No. Tomato club. Eat. Be fat. Hammy. Ah! Oh, he's down. Defeat Forbidden Cavern boss.
With the boss looked down, it was now time to get the broken bridge back online. So I pressed a button and call me crazy, but it worked. With me running out the Forbidden Cavern straight after, where I expected to have some fresh air, but instead was cut to a scene where 4 Donnies seemed to be stalking our movements.
Where do I want to go first? Go here. Screw it. Sunglow Lake.
And the first thing I did was bargain with the merchant, then heading over to the wooden platform where I started to learn how to fish.
We can fish. Whoop. I could steer it? Yo.
With the first fish I caught being the Man of War, and chopped it up into 2 fillets, also catching a lunar trout before getting a bit bored. So I made my way to the only other location I could get to.
Mountain trail.
Where I only had to do a bit of traversing before camping out for the night, sharing a few stories and being sad about Gar not showing up to their leaving ceremony. However,
the dream. Garl! Garl's in the bushes! He's here!
Garl had somehow overtaken us, and he wasn't told about the farewell party and darted to catch up. He must have overtook us while I was fishing, but Garl wasn't here to say goodbye. He was actually here to join us.
Garl, the warrior cook, joins the party. Yeah.
Then around the campfire, they did a bit of catching up.
Every single day I was hoping to see you come out. I'm sure glad no one told me it would take 10 years. Yeah, I know. 10!
To be fair, I'm with Garl on this one. But Garl taught us a handy trick, as if I collected the berries from the bushes and used the campfire, I could cook myself some berry jam, which when used in battle, gave me +5 NP, with everyone sleeping around the campfire. Then in the morning set off to find the Elder Mist, this time with the warrior cook in tow, also being able to test out Garl's abilities in battle.
Nourish, throw yourself some snacks, buddy.
And gained enough combat points to test out Mending Light.
Yo.
And eventually made it to the top of the mountain trail. And that's where I met the infamous Elder Mist.
Let's find out. What the hell is that?
The Mist asked for Zale and Valir to shove their magical pieces of fabric into the water, and then he chanted a few words giving us the ability to use magic without using magic, or in simple terms, live mana, with the Elder Mist having a trial for us straight after to learn how to use it, and that's when I unlocked the ability of boosting, and straight after was given a trial, and in one of them it decided to test my knowledge on the game.
Vulnerable during which natural phenomenon? Solstice. Wrong. Oh my god, I can't believe I answered 2 wrong.
With it turning out, I had been hustled, because all along I was just building the Elder Mist's armor.
Oh my god. Face me, children of the solstice.
And I didn't really get off to a good start.
Oh, I was meant to... What? Who said he was allowed to?
The Elder Mist had a move, which I consider illegal, counterattack. And with him using the illegal move, I was given my first game over. Third time was the charm though.
You need to recover. Oh, he's down! We got him! Yeah.
And with the Elder Mist defeated, Zale and Valir were officially named Solstice Warriors, which granted them a great power.
E and Q to say... Oh my god. I can change the time.
And with being able to do that, I now had to use the ability to figure out how to bring these bridges online, to where I followed the Elder Mist to Evermist Peak. The Elder Mist had one more thing for us, a prophecy, and for Zale to reach his potential, he had to stare at the night inside of him, and for Valir, eventually, she would be able to create paths on water. And surprisingly, Garl got one too.
Garl gets one! Yeah!
However, it was just a jab and he called him a weakling, but his cooking skills may be able to help soothe a long tormented soul. Then he gave us our next mission, to make it to Wraith Island before the next eclipse, as it was time to take down the Dweller of Woe. Now, do you want to see how we move between islands in this game? Watch this.
Name, which is Extol. Cool. Ah! Yo, he's just lobbed us. What?
Afterwards, a person called the Great Eagle decided it was his time to chime in, and gave us an overview. However, I'm running the show here, so we'll just ignore him.
Ah, man, this guy caught us. Looks like Iron Man, you know.
Extol had launched us all the way to Sleeper Island, and all I had to go on was trying to make it to Wraith Island, which meant I needed to find a port. So I started to look around, and that's when I spotted a weird looking chest.
Is that a chest? I see a chest. You found one rainbow conch.
And after, it seemed someone else other than the four amigos had their eye on us.
Oh my, hello. What? She's got a portal. What?
However, it was just me who actually saw them, so we continued the adventure into the moorlands.
Cammy.
Oh! Garl then caught a glimpse of pink hair in the distance.
Look, someone's over there. Are there? Oh, please be portal. Oh, who are you? Hello.
This here is Teeks, and the way to describe her is unique.
Magic hair. Enchanted cloth pieces. What the hell?
Teeks is apparently the last ever travelling historian, and has a magical textbook that writes for itself if you show it an artifact. Yeah, weird, I know. The Lore Grimoire, that's what it's called, writes the story behind the artifact, and if you sit at the campfire with Teeks around, she'll tell you about it. That's if you want to get bored to death by lore.
Oh my god, this story goes on for a long time.
To cut it short, because my god it needs it, there's a ghost ship out there called the Vespertine which had a pretty dark past. Something about being put into the Sea of Nightmares and an evil man named Stormcaller being a douche. Once story time was over and it was morning, Teeks said she was heading in the same direction as us, so she joined the squad.
Teeks joins the cargo. She's cargo. Okay.
I then remembered what this video was actually about and checked to see if there was any achievements I could do.
Bounce the moonerang 25 times in a row. Yo, wait.
Before doing a bit of fishing in Windy Lock, and learned the combo skill Solar Rain.
Hurry. Oh. Ah. Oh, that's cool.
Eventually making it to a place called the Stonemason's Outpost. Just forget about the massive sleeping dragon for now.
The Elder hasn't returned. Everyone, stop panicking.
The mole people were running around like crazy because there was this evil earth wizard called Malkomud. Muddy had taken over and stopped the mines, and to the mole citizens, that's no laughing matter, as the mines here played a little melody that keeps the massive dragon we just seen asleep. The town elder did try and go down to sort it, issue is, he hasn't returned. Just so happens, Garl is easily persuadable and volunteered us to go down and sort it out. However, there was a slight problem. The lift wasn't working.
In the mine tunnels. Security rules reminder, no jumping down. Ah, no jumping down, they say. Yeet!
And at the bottom of the shaft, I found the Elder. The Elder didn't actually come down here to challenge Malco Mud. He just wanted to get away from everyone panicking, and kinda just got trapped, so it was up to the gang to sort the problem out.
How do I move this, man?
With it being time to explore the mines to get the wind tunnels back online, also squeezing in a quick cheeky achievement.
3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yes, we got it!
And after, found the source of the problem which was blocking the wind in the tunnels, a massive robot, so I fried its circuits.
Spinning around.
Which brought wind back to this level of the mines, giving power to the elevator, so the Elder chose the opportunity to dip, leaving the rest up to us, meaning it was time for some more rule breaking again. And on the next floor, I found a chest which seemed to be overcompensating for something.
Oh my god, big chest. Mistral Bracelet. Press R to release bursts of winds that can push blocks. Oh.
The minstrel bracelet allowed me to blow wind from one of my hands, strong enough wind that it also moves the green blocks around, but apparently someone wasn't too happy about that.
Oh, hello dude. Can we get him as a pet?
This may be a JRPG, but sadly it's not Pokemon.
Salamander. He's eating girl. Ow.
With it scoring off somewhere once I gave it a beatdown. Then I also found the monster that was blocking the wind in this tunnel, so I swiftly took him out as well.
Spin!
Now that the wind was blowing back through the right side, I did the same on the left side as well, before I found a massive big door, and to my surprise, inside I found Muddy. You remember how I said the evil Malco Mud? Well, he's just a kid. And the monster I tried to throw into a Pokeball earlier, well that's his pet Rocky, and Muddy wasn't too happy about it.
Bro! Bro jumped up in the sky. What?
They also had a combo move of their own, combining into Mocky.
Bro! What do you want me to do?
Until eventually, Mocky had run out of energy, and we got to hear the kid's side of the story. And apparently, he was just being bullied by the village, so he hid away here and built his own fort. So we told him he could keep the fort, and would have a word with the lousy mole citizens. Before that though, I was cut to the full cult weirdos who were still spying on us.
3. Make sure everything goes smoothly in my absence. I'm so confused. What is going on?
Once out the mines, we gave the villagers a piece of our mind for bullying Muddy, and they got on their hands and knees to grovel. But to make up for it, they gave us the location of where the port town was, and also activated the massive elevator for us.
Bup. Oh my. What? We don't interact with the dragon, that's boring.
Oh, but we do, as we get to see the dragon called the Sleeper up close, fulfilling one of Garl's lifelong dreams. But once at the bottom of the elevator, we hopped off and made it to the Coral Cassades.
Ooh, yeet. I love the Minecraft logic. Oh my god!
The Coral Cassades was practically a massive waterfall, but it was just an area we had to pass through. However, there were some weirdly convenient signs lying around.
What's this warning sign? Boat, ship, boat, ship, boat, ship, boat, ship, brisk. Okay.
I was also able to gain the combo skill of Bash Drop for Valir and Garl.
Come find us at the dock in brisk. On our way, my guy.
With leaving the Coral Cassades and made it to the port town of Brisk. At the dock, there was a crew of 4 pirates, and it seemed they were the ones who were leaving the signposts for us.
Can do, Captain. Lookout's my middle name. Yolanda Lookout. What's your last name?
So, it was time to go greet them.
Boat this way. Jesus Christ, they've had to signpost it like so badly.
And with greeting them, I was able to work out Yolande's last name.
First mate Yolande Fortwell. So you're Yolande Lookout Fortwell. Yolande, got it. A service, in fact. Service is my never mind.
It seemed she had more than one last name. Also, during the introductions, the name of the captain finally clicked.
Meet our leader, Captain Cliche. Oh, what is the name, man?
Now, you're probably wondering who this ragtag looking pirate crew are. So I'll introduce you. You have Yolanda, Lookout Service Faultwald, a woman with too many names. Keenathan, the Wind Mage who can only do magic while blindfolded. Valtrade, who is the jack of all trades of the crew. And lastly, we have Captain Cliché. I don't think I need to make a joke here. But back to why we are here. We needed safe passage over to Wraith Island before the next solstice to fight the Dweller of Woe. So we asked the captain if we could hitch a ride, and surprisingly, she said yes. One condition though, we had to beat Puny Valtrade at an arm wrestling match. However, if we lose, we gotta run an errand for him. They gave us time to think about it, and said to meet up in the local tavern, the Humble Boast, and hit up the Humble Boast once I had my errands done.
Hello, people.
With finding Garl sniffing around the kitchen. Then it was time for the arm wrestle showdown.
Everybody, arm wrestling vote. Yeah.
With Garl taking charge. However, Captain Cliché told Valtrade he could go all out.
Come on, girl. 1, 2, 3. Oh no. Hey, we've been hustled. With
the dirty trick causing us to lose the match. It is on us though for making a deal with pirates. Since we lost though, we had to run a little errand for them. And to the north was an abandoned wizard lab which had something they needed. They said they'll get us inside, but it was our job to retrieve what was there.
Hold up. Oh, they joined the cargo, man. Can we get someone in the party?
However, before I left though, Yolande stopped us and pointed to the wheels table in the corner, and said we should give this minigame a try, handing me a copper wheel, as well as a warrior figurine and a mage. And I did the smart thing and looked at the rulebook first.
Oh, screw it, I can't be asked to read, I'm going just YOLOing it.
Heading into my first casual game of wheels. In the game, you have 2 figurines, while the opponent also has 2, and once your pieces are set up, you have to spin the wheel. You get a total of 3 spins, and you have the freedom to lock the tiles you roll. At the end of the 3rd spin though, you're locked in.
I'm so confused.
For reference, the square shapes you roll move to the left, and the diamond shapes move to the right. You can also roll hammer tiles, which will start to build your wall for protection. Some of the tiles will also have a blue background, and that means it will work towards leveling up your unit. And once you have enough tiles and the pillar next to your unit is down, you get to unleash an attack.
And we've got to get that to the bottom and it deals damage. It's a dub! Somehow.
So it was time to move on to the champions game.
Okay, let's go. There you go, you're upgraded. Just chill. Cool, we're attacking on both sides. That's that gone. 4. Take him down to 1. Come on. Nice. So he's leveled up. Nice. Got 5 gold. Okay, we attack. He's down. Dubs. Okay, I get the game.
And for winning, I was given the archer figurine. I had been sidetracked for too long though, so it was time to head to the abandoned lab.
Nah, I'm good. Let's go. You've got a hand? What the hell?
On the way up to the lab, I did run across the lavish lake, so I stopped off to fish for a bit, before finally making it to the wizard's lab. But even if this was a ragtag pirate crew, they knew what they were doing, and got the door open very swiftly. But as their part was done, most of them headed back to Brisk, with Keenathan deciding to stay behind. Inside the lab, I was greeted with what I would call a crystal dimension. Within, I had to open up portals using different coloured crystals, while also helping a wizard who got his arse stuck in a well. And when I combined all the crystals together, I was able to create a white portal, and was transported into a room where we were just floating. So Garl did the smart thing and made a break for it, and found something lying on the ground.
Wait, I should have saved. Feels powerful, get ready. It's a boss.
So it was to battle stations. However, I was still struggling at the basic skill of blocking.
Yeah, I thought it, so. $74. Jesus Christ.
But I was finally able to try out the combo skill Valir and Garl learnt back in the Coral Cascades.
The bash drop looks like it's probably best. Nice. Oh, and down. Defeat Chromomatic Aberration. That was a bit easier than expected.
And with the chronomatic apparition down, it dropped what we actually came here for, the coin of the Undead Accord. So it was back to Captain Cliché and her crew.
Ahoy, my mateys.
And handed over the coin, hoping it was time to board their big badass ship behind them. Or so I thought.
Ain't ours, no. We be right this way. Oh no. Oh no.
Yep, we'll be taking our journey to Wraith Island on the Oakham skiff.
Oh my god.
And I was questioning the ability of the skiff, but it seemed to hold us up pretty well. The trip was going to take some time though, so Keenathan decided it was time to give us intel on Wraith Island. And apparently, the Dweller of Woe had mind control powers. Then, out of nowhere, lightning struck.
You blink now or you miss it. Oh, the legendary ghost ship that appears at dusk, the Vespertine. Yo.
Remember the story Teeks told us about a ghost ship? Well, this was it, the Vespertine. However, it only appeared for a second before heading back into the Sea of Nightmares. Then we just had to trickle along until we finally made it to our destination, Wraith Island. The pirate crew said they were going to head over to the town of Lucent to kick back and relax. I, however, wanted to scout out the place, and I now was fighting zombies.
You just drop to the floor.
Also, if you're wondering why it's so dark, Wraith Island is currently cursed and surrounded by clouds, so no sunlight can get in.
It was bait. Oh, we got mimicked.
Once I was done getting mimicked, I did decide it was time to make my way over to the town of Lucent, and was greeted by a waiter called Edgar. Garl told him we were here to save the town, but the waiter was just like, no you're not.
This guy is a douche. Screw you, Edgar.
Thing was though, Headmaster Maureen, Erlina and Brugaves weren't here yet, so I actually did have some time to kick back and relax.
I go on, want to play some wheels.
However, I lost miserably.
Rigged.
The second time wasn't as bad though.
Gold. Attack! Charge! Take him down. Yes!
Then it was time to dig into dinner, with a noise sounding out of nowhere.
Does Captain Cliché know? Oh. They've been picked.
It seemed Edgar was getting paid to gaslight everyone and said nothing had happened, with the villagers joining in with him. You remember how I said the Dweller of Woe had mind control powers? Well, that was it in action, using it to bring people to its mansion when it got the munchies. Luckily for the village, we were around, and it seemed we're not able to mind our own business, so we sprinted out the tavern, with Captain Cliché deciding to get some fresh air. However, the villager had to take a tiny bit of a wait as I took a quick stop in the Haunted Creek, catching a spectral eel, a bone pike and a ghost sturgeon, heading into the cursed woods afterwards, before catching up with the villager.
There he is.
The Dweller of Woe's grip on the villager was too strong, as we bounced right off, with the villager making it inside the mansion. Sadly, we weren't able to follow, as we needed Headmaster Maureen to break the barrier that was protecting it. So, it was time to head back.
No point staying here then, let's go wait for the others. No. They're not gonna do it to Garl. It's singing again. Another one already? Garl! No! I knew it!
It seemed the Dweller got a bit pissed off that we were trying to meddle with its dinner, and thought Garl also looked like a tasty snack. But then it was Portal Stalker to the rescue, and stabbed Garl with some numbing poison, before he could make it inside the mansion. The poison, however, wasn't going to last that long, so we needed to get Garl as far away as possible so we could make a plan.
A mysterious assassin joins the party.
And let's just say, a portal-wielding assassin is just what the doctor ordered.
Curious how much damage you do. Let's go.
Oh, 56! And we were able to make it back to the tavern in one piece and put Garl to bed, tying him up. Then it was time to start making a plan. Sarai, that's the name of the assassin, said we had to make it to the Necromancer's lair and retrieve a soul stone from a woman named Ramaya. To make it to the Necromancer's lair, we had to hitch a ride with a rhyming ferryman. Issue is, we also needed a green flame for some reason.
Don't have the time for this.
But because we didn't have the green flame and everyone was getting sick of him rhyming, Sarai chucked a coin at him, which seemed to get us a one-way ticket over to the lair.
A coin of Undead Accord.
and across the bog we went, making it to the flooded graveyard. We ran around the graveyard mindlessly until we came across the graveyard keeper, and he warned us we should just turn back, as the mistress isn't very fond of company. Still though, there was no going back, and we made it to a giant skull, so I kinda figured this was the place. However, the graveyard keeper had somehow overtaken us, and just walked out the skull casually. He was polite enough this time to give us his name, and apparently he was resurrected from his ashes to serve the necromancer until his death. The Duke, however, seemed to have a bit of an ego about his battle skills, because for all his talk, he was kind of a disappointment, with him calling Zale over after the fight, and for some reason taught him a combat move called Dash Strike.
Sword and sun damage that hits all enemies. Oh, nice.
Then it was time to charge the skull, but Ramaya wasn't going to make it easy for me,
What the hell is that? It's a burn person.
with being tasked to find 3 skulls. So I headed to the right first, finding another chest that seemed to be overcompensating.
This is a big chest. Grapplu.
The grappler was kind of like a grapple hook, and this is how you fly.
I get you. Oh, that's cool. I get you.
So now I was going around everywhere like Spider-Man.
You could grapple enemies. That is amazing.
And I found the green skull being guarded by a Skellybob. So I took it down and the green skull slotted into the front door. So I had to do the same on the left side and then again for the middle, getting all 3 skulls slotted into the door. And it opened. Inside we found Ramaya the Necromancer, and she wasn't too pleased about us barging in. So we asked her up front, could we have the Soul Stone and we'll dip. But she didn't really seem to like the offer, with the fight starting and she used her power of necromancy to bring the bone piles to life. Sadly for her, I was now pretty used to the combat system and bashed the moon into her repeatedly until she went down.
Boom. Goodbye, Ramaya.
Or, that's what I thought, but apparently she just didn't want to fight as it wasn't worth her time, and chucked us the Soul Stone, telling us to get lost. Thing is, the Coin of the Undead Accord only gave us a one-way ticket here, so we had to also ask her for a green flame as well. She did hand it over, just very reluctantly, slamming the door behind us once we left.
She's touchy.
Using the green flame to get back across the bog, and gave the Soul Stone to Garl, with Sarai just slipping out casually.
Ugh. Garl.
It looked like the Soul Stone had worked, and Garl was back to his usual self, and perfect timing too, as the people we had been waiting for had arrived.
Saying long. Headmaster Marine. Why, of course not. They're here.
With Garl spilling everything that happened instantly, so remind me never to tell him any secrets, but the headmaster already wanted to move on, so it was time to take on the Dweller of Woe in the mansion.
Make sure you don't get in the way. Yeah, Garl's on his way.
With Captain Cliché deciding to step out once again for some fresh air. And once we arrived at the mansion, we got to see the true power of Solstice Warriors.
Villet. Oh. It's an eclipse. Time has come. Oh, everyone's powered up. Solstice Warriors channel through me.
With the barrier shattering instantly. Now that we were inside the mansion, we already had our tasks assigned. Erlina and Brugaves were to cleanse the basement and take out the glutton, while we were to cleanse out the ballroom and garden to take out the botanical horror, while the headmaster was going to head upstairs and work on the final seal. So we dashed towards the ballroom with a portal appearing,
Wagwan.
and Sarai saying she was going to join us for the fight. And we went around clearing out the rooms one by one, with ghosts reappearing and giving us advice once the monsters were gone. Also unlocking a combo skill for Sarai and Zale called X-Strike, and made it to the ballroom, dancing our way through until we opened a passageway to the gardens. Outside in the gardens, I got lost in a hedge maze, before finding my way to the entrance of a greenhouse.
Oh my god.
The botanical horror was a creepy ass plant that had 4 arms, which I had to lop off before I could get a good shot at his head. And I had to be swift about it as well, because otherwise...
Oh my god, they're all back.
It did, however, give me a chance to test out the new skill of X-Strike.
Let's extract these mother truckers. Envy them. Don't know what this does. What's just happened? Oh, they're down. That's what's happened.
But the botanical horror was no match, and it withered away after the final pruning. So it was time to meet back up with the headmaster, with Sarai dipping out.
The dweller is yours. Good luck. Bye, Captain Cliche. Good work, everyone. The Dweller of Woe is behind this barrier. Join me now.
And using the power of the solstice, the barrier was destroyed. But before we went in, Garl was told he had to stand back and watch, otherwise he'll die. Then, the headmaster used a rune to summon the Dweller of Woe. And to say Erlene and Brugraves are our seniors, we were dealing way more damage than them.
Ah, there's more! Yo! Wait, what? We did more damage than you did. Oh my god, what is this? When did we learn all this?
Thing is though, we weren't making any headway, as to get the true power from the solstice, we needed direct moonlight. So it was up to Garl to make that happen, while we tried to keep the Dweller at bay, so he headed up to the roof.
Maybe if I bet this will do just right. Okay, better find cover, run! I can't believe he had a bomb. Yes, Garl!
And guess who else was surprised? The rest of us down here, as the rubble could have hit any of us on the head. But never mind that, he did his job, and now the Dweller of Woe was now showing its true ugly form.
Oh my god, it's twitching.
Also, epilepsy warning like right now, because when the Dweller goes down, she puts on quite a show.
Oh my god, I'm bored. Never mind. Down she goes. Oh my god. This light show. Oof, fuck, that's a flashbang.
With the Dweller down, the headmaster wanted the core destroyed quickly, which is when a portal decided to arrive. And apparently, Brugraves and Alina haven't been telling us the full truth.
Tell them what you... Wait.
With them putting up a barrier blocking us from getting to the core, which is when another portal showed up.
What are they doing? Yo, what? Yo... We've been betrayed! What?
Yep, Erlina and Brugraves had stabbed us in the back, taking a deal with these cultists in exchange for freedom, on the condition they conjured a blood moon, as that would grant the cultists the power to revive the Dweller of Strife.
Guys! Oh, crap. Garl! It's Garl! Headmaster? Oh. Oh. The whole world's in turmoil. Captain Cliche.
The betrayal hit hard with the headmaster, and he collapsed as soon as they were gone. But with nothing else to deal with, we took him back to the tavern in Lucent to get some rest, while we were tasked to head back to Brisk to assess the damage. And Sarai said she'd go on ahead.
I will catch up with you when I'm ready. I'll go immediately. See you in Brisk.
Just teleport us there. And with Sarai being a bit selfish, we had to ask her crew to get us back across the bog.
Oh my god, this place is chaos.
And guess what Sarai asked for when we immediately saw her? For help. But we couldn't let someone die over my annoyance, so we assisted her as well as saving the town from the monsters that had appeared. And once the town had been swept up and all the remaining enemies gone, we gathered everyone at the dock to formulate a plan. And it was a 50-50 split on who wanted to stay and who wanted to leave, as there was talks of building a new town. Thing is, as much as I love the Oakham staff, it wasn't big enough to carry everyone out to sea, let alone a new island. But Keenathan had an amazing idea.
Reclaim the Vespertine.
as of course, all we had to do was buy it with the coin of the Undead Accord. Either way, that was the plan we went with and took the Oakham staff to the island right where the Vespertine would show up, and camped at a cliff nearby. Captain Cliché sent her crew packing, and told them to look after the villagers while we would stay behind and get the ship. And that's when the big secret of Captain Cliché was revealed.
Yeah, we kind of knew.
Yeah, back with the ferryman, I think we all clocked her real identity. But there wasn't that much to talk about, as there was a flash of lightning and the Vespertine appeared.
Now.
And we jumped on board, with the first thing being a ghost screaming at us to get off. Otherwise, we'll be trapped in the Sea of Nightmares.
We've come to claim the ship. Bye.
But we weren't moving, as our plan was to claim the ship. We told Hortense, the ghost's name, our plan, and weirdly enough, she was kind of on board with it, and said to get the ship out of the Sea of Nightmare, we had to take down the evil guy called Stormcaller. First though, we needed to get Hortense a map, and that was in a chest down below deck, meaning we had to clear out the ship of her old crew. Once I had obtained the map, that meant we were able to set sail. The island we needed to get to, sadly, had another barrier again though, and to take it down, we had to destroy the thing powering it.
So I gotta take these bad boys out. Oh, we skirted, no, we skirted.
I headed for the bottom left island first, where I collected 6 coins, which activated those stairs. And those stairs allowed me to break the crystal that was powering the barrier. Then I did the same thing for the top island, as well as the right one, with the barrier coming crashing down. So it was back to the middle to take down Stormcaller.
The tide brings trespassers to my realm, but now the storm calls for you.
And during the fight, he decided just to dip. Or that's what I thought.
What? He's just committed. Oh my god. Oh, what? Can't confirm that's unfair.
Yeah, that move should be made illegal. Especially when he can pull it out twice in a row.
Oh, he's doing it again. So I can block it.
It was kind of on me though, as I still wasn't breaking locks to stop his attacks at this point. However, that didn't matter, as a swift bonk to the head seemed to sort him out.
Oh, he's down. Woo! No!
But now that Stormcaller was no longer with us, we headed back to the ship and braced ourselves, as the Vespertine was transported out of the Sea of Nightmares, finally being free. And we took the ship back to Brisk, handing it over to Sarai and her crew, with Hortense having to prove her worth to join Sarai's crew.
Oh, guitar solo!
Now that Hortense had joined Captain Cliché's crew, and also having acquired the Vespertine, it was time to set out to form a new village, for those who thought it was a waste of time to rebuild.
Let's go!
There was already an island that people had in mind, and it was to the northeast. Unfortunately for them, they had given me the map, and now I could sail, so I had to uncover everything I could see.
Was it always purple? I don't remember it being purple. Oh my god. Look at these dunnies. Look at his heads. What the hell? Put his head down. Wait. Mesa Island.
And once the whole map was filled, I decided it was time to head to our destination.
To Settlers Island. We're here, baby!
As soon as we landed, everyone hopped off the boat, with Garl being on it and taking charge once more, and got the village construction underway.
That's one way to take down a tree. No, TNT! Blow, blow, no! Yo, they're doing this very quickly.
And for someone who hasn't done this before, I'm quite impressed.
I don't know, Garl MVP, like, what would we do without him?
However, there was one complication. While woodcutting deeper into the island, a villager found a strange entrance, so while Zale and Valir were twiddling their thumbs, they decided they'll go check it out.
What, just us two? Oh.
However, the fears of the villagers could wait, as I had some fish I needed to grab, and caught myself a crimson bass and a seek jaw. Then I found myself in an eerie place called the Ancient Crypt, and a lamp started to talk. Turns out though, the lamp was friendly, and this was his home.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What's that?
with the Crypt Walker leading us further inside, and was quite chilled when we told him about the new settlers moving in. He also showed us the enormous size of the crypt. So I had a cheeky gander, and I will confirm there is definitely over 1,000 graves.
The funniest of all, Christopher Pruitt.
And with that sorted, it was back to the village to tell them the good news, which is when we caught everyone in the middle of giving the village a new name. And because Garl had contributed so much, he was given the honour. And during this conversation, I generally thought they were going to name the town Garl, but that meant it was time for Garl to put on his thinking cap.
Mirth. Town of Mirth.
And with the town of Mirth having been born, right on cue, the headmaster decided to arrive. And guess what the first thing he decided to do was?
No way is he joining the party. I resign. Headmaster Maureen! No!
It wasn't like he quit without no reason though. He just didn't have the strength to fight anymore, especially to head to the barriered Mesa Island and take down the resurrected Dweller of Strife. He did, however, still believe in us.
Take this final gift from me, the Coral Hammer. We've got a Coral Hammer!
He also gave us a clue on where to go next, and that was to Watcher's Island, and to find where the lost city of Darkrai was. There we needed to search for the Oracle of Tides, as they were the only person out there that could offer us guidance now. But with Headmaster Maureen now homeless, we decided we might as well find him a job here, and made him the village elder. And with all that settled, we made for the port, with Watcher's Island next on the list. But before we were able to sail off, I got stopped and was given something quite useful.
Sarai learns ultimate attack, Vespertine cannons.
Yep, I just unlocked my first ultimate attack. And after, the Archivist gave his little monologue again, and we'll just skip right over it. Sailing off to Watcher's Island. Watcher's Island was a jungle, and deep within lies the lost city of Darkrai. Or so we were told, but that meant we had to get a move on, and made our way through the jungle path until...
Oh my, hello. Oh hi, how you doing?
It seemed 2 of the 4 cultist weirdos by the name of 1 and 3 had come to greet us, so I gave them a pretty nice greeting back. They, however, didn't care about formalities and asked for us to hand over the Coral Hammer, but we refused.
Bamba.
With them having the first casualty, just ignore Zale, with 3 going down and then 1 following straight after.
Oh, so close to using my combo. He's got a weep.
And they scurried back into their portal utterly defeated. So we continued forward and found Lake Darkrai, but the city we wanted to find was lost underwater, and Valir brought up a good point.
For a swim, but this looks deep. No way we can hold our breath for that long.
But we couldn't just stand here, so we swam across the lake and found a massive bell, which we hit with the Coral Hammer, and it raised a stairway.
Oh, look at these.
And went inside the building, shaped like a seashell, and was greeted by a temple servant, who had been tipped off about our arrival, and the servant told us we could pick out a seashell, which made Garl pretty happy.
This one is best. What do you think, Sarai? What? Sure. No way are they gonna... No, they're not sorting a romance out.
Once Garl had picked out our seashell, we were told that we now needed to make our way to the sacred grove, and let the seashell drink from its altar.
We have got seashell. Woo!
And was warned that we had to steer clear of Torment Peak. I wasn't told to steer clear of Watcher's Pond though, and I stopped to catch myself a Viridian lobster, a sun carp and a fluorescent piranha. And once the fishing was out the way, we made it to the sacred grove and ventured forward until we reached the grove's altar, placing inside the seashell. And a whirlpool was created, and our normal seashell had now turned into a magical one.
You can now explore underwater sections by entering whirlpools.
So guess what I did? I jumped into the whirlpool, and now I was able to swim underwater, and the route I was taking took me back to the entrance of the grove. It didn't mean I was heading back just yet though, as there was a puzzle I still needed to do, which unlocked Valir and Sarai the combo skill of Moonshiv. Then I had the urge to do what I was told not to do.
Torment Peak. Told to stay away from this place.
Sadly, there wasn't actually anything I could do, which meant I just had to make my way back to Darkrai Lake, with a new whirlpool appearing in the middle. So I dove down, making it to...
We're at the Lost Village.
And first things first, I needed to loot. Or that was the plan until I spotted a wheels table in the tavern.
We're going in straight in for the champion game.
And my tactic was simple, funnel everything into the mage.
Quick. Why we lost? Blasphemy, man. Oh, they're rubbing salt into the wounds by getting the mage attack.
It didn't seem to work though, so I went for a second try and lost again.
It's goddamn one again.
But third time's the charm, right?
It's a tie, are they? No, I don't want to tie.
No, apparently not, but sixth time was.
Yes, sit down.
Then it was back to looting, and I found something I had been trying to figure out for a long time, and that was where to turn my conches in, with the kid having a list of what I could get if I found all 60.
Something meta.
So I turned in my current conches, and it turned out I already had 18, and for that I was given the inn plans, which we would need to build back at Mirth. Then it was time to go see the Oracle. However, there was a guard in the way. Again though, our arrival had been foretold, so he let us pass, and inside we found the Oracle of Tides, with Valir getting straight to the point, and asked us how we could break the barrier surrounding Mesa Island, but he only said he could guide us, not tell us directly.
Warrior Cook, step forward. Hey, that's exactly... Step forward!
The Oracle gave everyone their guidance one by one, apart from Sarai, who apparently was a foreign child. Garl was told that the great deed he was capable of will be revealed when it's too late to act upon, and when the moment comes, to demand a flask of borrowed time. Then, for Valir and Zale, he said to head to Ant Sudlow, as someone we needed to meet was waiting there for us. And before we left, he told us one more thing. Out of every single battle we do with the Dweller of Strife, we won't win. So it seems he was just happy to send us to our deaths. And after he broke that news to us, he opened up the waterfall and said beyond was the mysterious tower of Ant Sudlow.
Godspeed, Solstice Warriors.
Heading in to the waterfall.
Ant Sudlow. What's this? Is it like a warp? No. Sapphire key. Ah. Woo!
And with using the warp gates, we were able to make it to the base of Ant Sudlow's tower. However, the door wasn't open, so I hit the bells on each side of the tower, activating it. And inside was a room with a cog, which acted like an airlock system. Then, when I was even further inside, I found an elevator. But it was busted, so I needed to find a way to fix it. And headed down the passage to the left, and found a red orb, with it fitting nicely inside the elevator. So I headed to the right side and also found a yellow orb, placing that into the elevator and getting the bad boy working, allowing me to go up to the next floor. Then I did the same thing for this floor, finding a green orb and a purple one. And you'd think I'd be done, right? Well, no, as the next floor had some Futurama-esque tunnels to complete the puzzle. But once all that was said and done, I had finally reached the top of the tower and was presented with a door. We just needed to figure out how to open it.
Or magic. Maybe we're just supposed to knock? Garl with the answers, man.
And then we were brought back into the Great Archives, and was given an overview by the archivist, but this time with a little bit of a twist.
Stop looking back. Come in. No way! No way! What the hell?
The archivist introduced himself and told us his name was Roshan, also known as the Great Eagle.
Wait, so you're the immortal alchemist?
He is indeed, but sadly Roshan is bound by a very strict code, which doesn't allow him to help out, and then talk some nonsense about timelines and our world simply being one of many, also casually slipping in that his former associate was the Fleshmancer, who went by the name of Ethereal. Apparently Ethereal had left this world a long time ago, but if he learned that Roshan was still alive, he would come back, so we needed to zip our lips. But remember Garl is here, so fat chance of that. Roshan then said he had a task for us, and that he was going to send us off to a remote location to find a long-lost artifact that was encased in ice.
Ooh.
And said if we were able to recover it, he'll go along with our plan of striking down the Dweller of Strife.
Look at Garl. Garl just goes straight in, man.
And so we took the portal and ended up at Glacial Peak.
Bop. Woo! Save.
With it being time to start climbing the mountain.
Right, go, my guys. I don't know who you are, but we're fighting. I look at him, he's playing. Oh, he's on the drums. Sadly, I don't know what he's playing up.
Dude, those aren't drums.
Up. Oh, not again. What's up with you guys, man?
This time with number 2 and 4 from the Court of Weirdos showing up. And that meant it was to battle stations.
Ta-dum. Oh my god. Blocked? Get blocked?
However, they were just as weak as 1 and 3, and I was able to easily sweep them aside by Sarai's ultimate attack, the Vespertine Cannons.
Unlucky for you, I've got an ultimate Vespertine Cannons! Oh my god. Oh my god.
With them running away back into their portal, which allowed me to concentrate on getting to the peak.
Cool. Okay.
And at the top, we found the artifact encased in ice, so Valer and Zale broke it out, and we gained
Solstice Amulet.
which allowed you to...
Oh my god.
Yep, we were able to change the time of day at will. Amazing, right? So we used the power to make our way back out, also learning a new move along the way.
Garl and Sarai learned a combo skill, Item Roulette.
And used Roshan's portal to get back to the Great Archives. Now, you know how Mesa Island is blocked off by a massive barrier, right? Well, Glacial Peak was actually on the island. Valir did suggest why didn't we just hike down the mountain, but Roshan said that was practically suicide. He did know another way, however, but first we needed to get him the Vial of Time. Issue was, he didn't know where it was, only that it was hidden somewhere here on Watcher's Island, and also had an inkling that we would need to cleanse Torment Peak before being able to get it, as apparently the Dweller of Torment was here, so now I can't see why it's called Torment Peak. So off to Torment Peak we went, and was able to open up the front door with the Amulet of Solstice.
Doom shakalaka. Torment Peak. It's dark in here, guys. I'm just saying. Please just be a light switch.
I did eventually figure out how to turn on the lights.
Oh, I get you. Look at it roll.
Eventually making it so far into the caves that I seemed to be seeing strange butts popping out of the floor, with Garl doing the same thing and started to bash his trash can lid.
Good morning.
And woke up a bunch of monkeys, and it seemed they had a bit of a caffeine overdose. But even with them spurting out nonsense, I was able to gather enough information that their mum needed saving.
I miss the clouds. Do clouds still exist? Yes. Yes, guys, clouds still exist.
And as annoying as they were, we also did kinda feel bad for them, with Garl thinking their mum might be called the Gorilla Matriarch. But Teak seemed to think that she was destroyed long ago by the Fleshmancer. Nevertheless, Garl accepted their request for aid, and said would stop at nothing to save her, which meant it was even deeper into the caves for us.
Whirlpool. It looks like a lava whirlpool. Oh, hello.
And that's when we found out Teaks' info was false, meeting the Gorilla Matriarch. She told us to turn back, as the Dweller of Torment had grown pretty big by snacking on her children, and was sealed away by the Solstice Warriors, which were too weak to fight it long ago. And she had been bound by the Fleshmancer himself to stop her running loose. That meant to free her, we had to take down the Dweller for good. But as we're in a cave, our Solstice powers weren't going to work. However, Sarai did have a plan.
Okay, so the Solstice Amulet should resonate with the Dweller, but the light from the eclipse will never get in here. I'll find a way, just do your thing. Sarai has left the party. God damn it, Sarai. Okay, no turning back now.
So down the whirlpool we went, and confronted the Dweller of Torment, who was about to munch on a baby cub.
Why don't you try us for lunch instead?
With the Dweller popping out, and he was kind of a lot bigger than I expected. And the fight was on, but without the eclipse, we were dealing no damage.
Yummy, yummy, yummy. Aha. Can't do much. Make way! Oh my god. Is she making a massive portal?
Sarai OP. Sarai OP. Sorry I'm late. And with having the moon down here, we were able to fight. Also somehow we got the Vespertine cannons to shoot down here through a portal.
Well, that did nothing.
And what I needed to do was take down his arm so his head was vulnerable. And after quite a drawn out fight, we got him. And Garl decided to use the moment to try and flirt with Sarai. He was kind of brushed off, so that meant it was time to destroy the core. And with the Dweller down, we were able to free the Matriarch, and she said she wanted to reward us by fixing the big statue called the Watcher. Also, the cubs were still being as annoying as ever. With the mother chucking the prism that had just been sitting on the mat into the Watcher's hand, and if I changed the time of day, it would reflect a beam of light. Revealing the Moshi Cache, which had a jigsaw puzzle to complete, and by completing it, revealed the Vial of Time. So it was back to Resh'an, who told us just to throw it at a wall, and somehow from throwing it, it managed to transport to Resh'an's neck. But now that we had the Vial of Time, it was time to make our way over to Mesa Island, with Resh'an joining the party. He did however have one strict rule: under no circumstance was he allowed to fight a Dweller. Also, he wanted us to keep his identity a secret, and just call him Resh'an instead of the Immortal Alchemist.
Resh'an, the Immortal Alchemist, joins the party.
With keeping it a secret though, there was one person we didn't account for.
She's gonna find out now. Wait a minute. Oh crap, she's gonna find out instantly. There's more to you.
Yeah, you can't get anything past Teaks. She did say though that she would keep it a secret, and in exchange, she wanted his autobiography. Before heading to Mesa Island, I did however make a quick stop back at Mirth, as if you remember, I got the inn plans from the Conch Kid, and I wanted to get it built. I still did need to find someone to run the place though. Also, I haven't shown it, but I did hand in a few more conches, getting the shop and fishing hut plans as well, which also needed someone to run them.
Yeah, I got no one to run these places. Shopkeeper wanted.
And the town elder Maureen's house was built, so I ran in and raided and found Maureen's office key. Then it was to Mesa Island, and we walked over to a location called Mesa Height. And you know that massive head I've been sailing past? Well, this time we're gonna get a good look.
Oh my god, look at the head.
And for some reason, Resh'an chucked the Vial of Time at its head, waking him up from an 150-year nap.
Oh my god, his eyes.
The head's name was Kakar, and his main duty was to hold Mesa Island at this precise altitude while also protecting it with a barrier. And Resh'an brought Kakar up to speed, telling him that we were his friends, and then let Garl take over to do the talking. Garl asked Kakar to remove the barrier, but he refused, as he said he didn't want to send his friends into danger. So Resh'an chucked the Vial of Time at him again, starting the loop over, with Garl saying this time that we were just adventurers. And with that, Kakar was convinced, and the barrier covering Mesa Island was brought down.
We're able to go.
So into Mesa Island we went, and found ourselves at the Autumn Hills, and that allowed me to finally test out Resh'an in battle.
You go first, my guy. Abacus. Let's try it.
And was able to make it through the Autumn Hills relatively unscathed.
Oh my. Oh, that's cool.
While I was still keeping up with Teaks' long ass stories. And if you are interested what they say, you're gonna have to play the game for yourself.
Who's this guy?
Once the minstrel had played his flute, he left with a riddle. When the moon shines bright on autumn sheaves, come forth the abomination of roots and leaves.
Bye, dude.
So I brought the moon, but nothing happened, until I realised I needed to put the leaves onto the pile. Then I brought the moon once again, and this time a leaf monster turned up, and I was struggling to find his weakness.
0? All of that?
But it seemed when he lost his leaf armour, he was able to be damaged, so I just had to get as many hits in I could while it was off.
Defeat the leaf monster. So this was a boss. This was a proper boss. Oh my god.
And with the leaf boss down, we dashed forward.
That was annoying, to say the least. I can't believe that was a quest. Oh no! The Greaves!
2 decades ago in Mooncradle, Erlina and Brugaves were just kids, in their training to be Solstice warriors, with the headmistress and the other Solstice warriors setting off for a fight, with it being the biggest group ever to attempt to cleanse a dweller. However, it did not go as planned, and while Erlina and Brugaves were waiting by the gate for their return, the bell chimed, and only Maureen had returned.
They have returned! Wait. Oh, he's down.
task that the Solstice Warriors were set out to do was to take down the Dweller of Strife, and the mission was completed, but it took a horrible toll of 20 deaths, leaving Maureen, Erlina and Brugaves as the last remaining Solstice Warriors.
I'm trying. Then try harder, you're way too slow. Oh, this guy's just a douche. He wasn't the best of trainers.
So Erlina and Brugaves set out to leave, and after seeing the toll it took, they didn't want to be Solstice Warriors anymore. However, they didn't know how to hunt, and had to return back to the academy for food. Then later that year, at the Winter Solstice Festival, Belair turned up, and then the same for Zale at the next Summer Solstice. Erlina and Brugaves loved Belair and Zale, but they didn't want them to suffer the same fate they had, so they made a deal with the cult weirdos. In return for a blood moon, they agreed to let this world be destroyed, as long as they could go to another world and allow Belair and Zale to come with them. Make what you think of their backstory, but they still weren't winning me over. Onto a lighter note though, fishing. I made it to Lake Turquoise, and there were some fish I hadn't gotten yet. Fishing up a
Clockwork Crane,
swordfish and a ninja starfish. Then I headed over to the Songshroom Marsh, and got to do the Total Wipeout Red Balls, before finding myself a house. We were welcomed by a hermit called Yamara, which just so happens to be Ramaya the Necromancer's sister. However, this sister was a good egg, as Yamara was just a seer and gave Roshan a prophecy. During our travels, we'd meet the dead of a forgotten race, and the one thing Roshan has always failed to achieve will be possible, making living glass. But with all that said and done, it was time to head towards Clockwork Tower, and I was shocked at something so trivial.
When budge. It's clockwork, like the title suggests.
As the main gate was closed, we needed to parkour our way up the cliffs, which was when we were greeted with another closed door. But when we knocked it open,
They're here.
They said we couldn't pass, and if we didn't listen, they'll just have the Dweller knock some sense into us.
For them. The Dweller's here? Oh, shoot.
With it turning into a 2v2, as the others couldn't be bothered to help out apparently.
Say you guys are meant to be stronger than us, or seniors. It's kind of whack.
Yep, very whack, as we totally wiped the floor with them.
Oh, and she's down as well. How do you guys feel being weaker than your, juniors?
And they ran inside crying like babies because they just couldn't handle it. So we tailed them, and inside was a treasure trove of a garden. So I nabbed all the food I could. Again though, I was faced with another shut door, and the only way to open it was to yank these gears with the grab loop, and that revealed a keyhole, with the key being in a chest. Then there was another puzzle to figure out, and after I found myself inside a workshop, where we met a man named Seal. Seal may look like a kid, but he was actually centuries old, and the Fleshmancer had put a curse on him and his crew. The curse was that if they ever left the castle, they would age to the age they should be, and at this point, centuries had passed, so if they stepped outside this time prison, they'd die. The good thing, however, is they wanted out, so they were willing to help us with our plan of taking down the Dweller of Strife. But first, we had to get past this passage that was blocked by this flesh tree, as we needed to fetch the Watchmaker's master key, and that would unlock the big door. Luckily, Seal had already thought of something to destroy it. All he needed was the power of the Solstice Warriors. Seal said Eclipse magic could be catalyzed and made into an even bigger weapon. So while we went and fetched the key, they were going to start building the weapon to help us fight the Dweller of Strife. So we headed towards the key, while they tried to change the time of day and was making fun of us.
At least they're trying.
Then I had to do 4 to 5 puzzles before making it to the Watchmaker's tower.
Oh, hello.
The Watchmaker was just chilling making watches. Crazy, right? And she said she didn't want to take part in the conflict. And then a mysterious key fell from the roof, and it turned out to be the master key. So I think she just wanted us to win.
You want to challenge me at a game of wheels? Don't be silly, you haven't beaten all the champions yet. Oh, she's the last champion to play. Okay.
Then we made our way back to Seal, and before we went in, revised our plan. Our job was to take down the cultist weirdos, while Seal and their team would try to sneak in and get the weapon past them. Then they'd set up the weapon on the second tower. We just had to somehow drag the Dweller over there, and with it sounding like a solid plan, we went with it.
Oh my.
Do you see that massive heart behind them? Yeah, that's currently the Dweller of Strife. So we were actually given a golden opportunity to take it down early. Also, SEAL Team 6 weren't very good at sneaking, but we had our jobs to do. That meant it was time to take down the cultist weirdos, with the first to go down being number 2. And then I got to try out Roshan's ultimate attack for the first time.
Screw it. Don't know what this is. We heal and we nuke them? Oh my god, that's amazing.
Also taking down number 4 in the process, which left 3 to go down next, and lastly, number 1.
The Acolytes are down, baby!
There was some bad news though. They did delay us just enough.
God damn it.
Yeah, the Dweller of Strife had awakened, so looks like we were resorting to Plan A with SEAL Team 6. And as soon as we ran outside, we used our power to create an eclipse, giving us the best chance at survival. Just forget what the prophecy said earlier. So we dashed towards Watchtower 2. But the Dweller of Strife wasn't going to make it that easy for us.
Ah, path backwards is gone. It's coming again. Ah, we're trapped.
Luckily, it wasn't able to stop us from getting there, with Seal saying to fight this as hard as we could, and the crystal would absorb some of our energy and fire when fully charged.
I am not touching the Dweller. We know.
It was up to the 4 of us to take it down.
Oh my god, look at the eye. Give it out.
And as you can see, anytime I used a Solstice attack, the crystal absorbed some of our magic.
Vulnerable 15, what do you mean?
What? Yeah, I can see the prophecy happening now.
6! Oh, we're dead. We're so dead.
2! Oh, no. But SEAL Team 6 didn't bring up this weapon for no reason.
Okay, but the Eclipse laser does 5,000.
With the Dweller bashing its head against a rooftop. So I just had to wait while trying to get the second and third shot out. And each blast made the Dweller even more unhappy.
Oh, it's angry. Ah, it's just the same. Oh. Oh, it's taking the tower down. We're going down.
And with the Dweller down, everyone had fallen, and most were knocked out, also losing our only weapon. But Zale still wanted to continue. However, we were doing no damage, so Sarai had to intervene and forced Roshan's hand, getting him involved by throwing the Vial of Time at the Dweller.
Screw your terms. You fool!
And just like that, the world began to shake, and Roshan said whatever happens, he'll do the talking. And coming out from the portal was the one and only Fleshmancer, asking why Roshan had broken the deal. Roshan tried to negotiate, but Fleshy wasn't having any of it. Fleshy then spoke to the cultist weirdos, before speaking to Alina and Brugaves, and said he'll grant them their wishes, as they help conjure the Blood Moon. First though, he told the weirdos to head back through the portal, and in the distant future, they shall return together as one being, and be the king of a new race. Then he granted Brugave's wish. As soon as he steps into the portal, he forgets everything and was given a new name. Then for Alina, she wanted power, overwhelming power, and the Fleshmancer was happy to abide, telling her with him she'll be strong enough to rule over a new world.
What? Overwhelming power? No.
And after, the Fleshmancer turned to us, saying an eye for an eye, and that he got one shot at Roshan. However, even though Roshan said to keep our traps shut, Gull decided to be a moron and called the Fleshmancer, funny enough, a moron.
Oh my god, we're about to get killed. Go!
Roshan then stopped time, and weirdly had a nice catch-up with Ethereal, like they used to back in the day, until he turned into the Fleshmancer. Roshan also told him he believed we'll be the ones to take him down, but Ethereal just laughed it off, saying we weren't even able to make it past the Sea of Stars, and if we could, Alina would be his new champion. Then it was time to unfreeze.
Go! Go! He's done it again! He's took a hit for us again!
And with Garl dying, Zale was overwhelmed with emotion and started to glow, with the Elder Mist able to talk to him, telling Zale to bring Garl back to the pond.
Sure, if we fly away. No way!
After, Valir took a cheeky swipe at the Fleshmancer before also doing what Zale did.
Garl! Can you fly? Oh, you can! What is this bollocks?
With Sarai and Roshan not being far behind, even if they didn't know where we went to. And this was it. Garl had a gaping hole in his chest.
I wish I could help you get there. I wish I could help you one last time.
With the Elder Mist turning up right on cue, and went inside Garl, showing him another prophecy. With the vision done, he told everyone what he just saw, and he knew how to chase after the Fleshmancer, and to do that, we needed to go into the Sea of Stars. But Garl was coughing up blood.
When that moment comes, demand a flask of borrowed time. Demand it, Garl.
With Garl demanding the flask of time off Roshan.
He's up.
And it really hit the spot for Garl. There was one side effect though. He was kind of phasing. He was still going to die, but he did just have enough time to do what he actually needed to do. So Garl asked for one final wish from Zale and Valir, and that was to make his death count. Now that Garl had a plan, it was time to act upon it, and the first thing we needed to do was go into the sky. And just south of Mesa Island, he knew just how to do it, so we made our way over there.
Yeet!
And sailed over to the island Garl mentioned. And once there, we couldn't cross where we wanted to go, because we had no bridge. And then Valir said she knew what to do.
Path some water. Out of them. Yo! We have got a path of water. Nice work, Valir.
Making it to a place called the Skyward Shrine. And like any normal sky island, it somehow had a lagoon. So I went and stopped by to do a bit of fishing before rolling up to the Cloud Kingdom.
Yo.
Taking a break for an hour to try and destroy the giant at a game of wheels.
And we're dead. No, bollocks to this game, man. I win. I win. Fucking yes, Mage Rush. Mage Rush OP.
And was rewarded with an engineer figurine.
How am I meant to make you lift both feet?
Then met up with the Sky Council as we needed to persuade them to give us access into the Sea of Stars. They asked, do we possess the key? And yes, we did, with the key being the Vespertine. Did we possess the will? With Sarai just stepping forward and somehow they deemed that satisfactory, leaving only the matter of what they'll get in return. And Garl told them he would wake the sleeper. To wake the sleeper, he planned to make a massive piece of bread. All we had to do was terraform a volcano.
We find no valid counter-argument.
And the council opened up a volcano that we could use, also giving us the wind key, so it was time to get baking. But first we had a few things we needed to get, and that meant splitting up. Garl would be in charge of terraforming the volcano, as he could get Malco Mud to help him. Zale was in charge of air, and he had to go to the Skyland that contained a bottle of Zephyr. Valir was in charge of fire, and tasked with just clearing out the volcano, leaving Sarai with water. She had to head back to the Sea of Nightmares, and steal one scale from the Hydroline, then taking it to Teaks in Mirth and growing all the crops we needed for the bread. But Roshan was kind of left out, as Garl thought he wasn't allowed to interfere, so Roshan pulled his Shadow Clone Jutsu, joining all three parties.
You can do that?
Oh yeah, this giant in front of us is called Punty, by the way.
Kaka? Bye!
Then Garl got punted like a football as well, and surely this is a health and safety lawsuit waiting to happen. For me though, I was in charge of Zale, so I made my way to the air elemental Skylands which contained the Zephyr. Sadly the Zephyr was encased in crystal, so we needed to find something that would shatter it. Also, Teeks' stories weren't getting any shorter.
Wasting Ethereal's time. The end. Jesus.
And along the way, Zale and Roshan learnt the new combo skill, Conflagate.
It's hard to control.
Yep, it was basically an orbital laser beam. After, we found a crystal that contained the same properties as the crystal out front, and we ended up combining it with the flimsy hammer, creating the
Cobalt Hammer.
using it to break the crystal and bottled up the wind of Zephyr. Switching over to Sarai, on her attempt at getting the Hydra Lion scale.
Sarai and Roshan learned a combo skill, Arcane Barrage.
So in we chucked the Immaculate Pearl and the Hydra Lion came forth, and straight away, testing out Arcane Barrage.
Tails down. Oh, I was only meant to get the tail? Crazy.
Then we saw Garl getting Malco Mud on board before watching Valir take down a whole volcano, and came face to face with the Toadcano,
Look at the bad boy. Lava Toad.
who was luckily vulnerable to lunar magic. Also, I don't know if that's a volcano on his back or his arse, and if it's the latter, I don't want to think what he's hurling at me.
Boom. Defeat the Toadcano.
And with the Toadcano down, we were back at Mirth watching Sarai and Teeks grow all the crops we needed in seconds.
Yo. Crazy.
With everyone meeting back up at the volcano, and Malco Mud had done his work, so the Volcano Bakery was now open for business. The crops went into the grinding mill, with Garl stirring the flour produced. Then he needed the bread, with Malco Mud raising the lava level to heat it up. But it wasn't all sunshines and rainbows, as Garl didn't have much time left.
Yeah, buddy. Girl's about to go. Girl's about to die.
So we used the bottle of Zephyr, and the wind took it straight to the sleeper's nostrils.
He's up. He's awake.
With the sleeper taking the bait, and enjoyed the bread so much that now Garl was somehow his master, asking for a new name, which led to the fierce dragon being called Wentworth. Garl did have one final wish before he phased out though, and that was to ride Wentworth's back.
I couldn't have asked for better friends. Garl, no. No.
And while that wish was being granted, he drew his final breath.
Garl. We've lost him.
And so we buried him next to the celestial willow tree. And Valir and Zale took it hard. And with their best friend gone, they needed a bit of time to sort through their feelings. But once they had and they were ready, it was time to take on the Sea of Stars. With their feelings in check, the power of Luana and Solon started to awaken them, with Zale learning his ultimate attack, Salvation, and Valir learning her ultimate attack, Retribution. So it was time to go back to the Sky Council, but before that, I had to beat the Mooncradle champion of Wheels.
Cause boom. See you later, buddy.
Unlocking the Golden Wheel, and took one final look at Garl's grave. Also taking a peek into Headmaster Maureen's office with the key he gave us.
Cannot read that.
Then we spoke with the Sky Council, and we actually learnt Yolande's full name.
Pirate First Mate Yolande, earnest, well-meaning, demolition, busy, lookout, practically anytime service, forward.
Now, do you remember the 4 heads in the middle of the map we sailed past? That was the entrance.
Here we go.
And found a shore to dock at.
Trek to the center of the world. We're going to the center of the world?
And that was all I needed to hear.
Bop.
And made it to...
Sea of Stars. Oh my god. Do we have a map? No. Where do I go?
Luckily, they anticipated for stupid people like me, and had a beam of light of where you needed to go towards.
Ah!
And I had to do that for a second time, and then a third.
Oh my god. What is going on? Oh! What have we just done? Yo, this is crazy, my guys.
And just like that, we had somehow shattered the world, making it to shore.
Anyone care to explain?
So we ventured further into the world unknown.
It's a machine. Up. Oh my. Intruder alert.
And out came a goddamn machine.
Bro, what's going on?
That meant it was time to scrap the robot. And luckily, it wasn't that advanced where our attacks wouldn't affect it. And guess what else can do damage? Zale's ultimate.
Oh, Zale's ultimate. Let's try it. Pro flying. Oh my god. What? So was I meant to help with that? He did not need help? What?
Also finding the enemy I genuinely hate the most in this game, a goddamn drone.
Hex shield. Boom.
You know how Sarai has been holding secrets during the whole game? Well, look at this.
No way is this her home. This is her home.
Yep, this world had been ravished and destroyed by the Fleshmancer already, with a sky base that produced nasty clouds preventing sunlight from reaching the surface. Also, somehow the moon was sunk into the ocean. However, everyone in this world, one by one, was turned into a cyborg by a wicked machine called the Catalyst, with that being what she wanted us to take out. First though, she felt a bit homesick, wanting to head back to her hometown of Rapine. So, to the exit we went, and sailed east towards Cerulean Island, and walked towards the derelict factory. But it was locked, so we broke in through the roof, unlocking the door from inside. Which is when we got teleported right into a booby trap.
Uh-oh. I'm against turrets, guys. Turrets. I want to see something. I want to see if this works. I don't think it will. We'll try. Oh, it does! Lol.
Making my way through the derelict factory to repair the elevator, and entered Sarai's hometown of Rapine, and she said we could make plans in her house.
Good morning, Cedric. She's got her own Jarvis. Good morning, Sarai.
Cedric gave his overview of what went down in this world while Sarai had been gone, and said that the Fleshmancer had a new lieutenant in his castle called Elsendrel. He also said that there were hints of a forgotten race that might be able to get the Speedball network back online, and that would be how we make it to the Skybase. Before heading out though, Sarai wanted to see what we were facing, sending out a probe.
We're taking this thing down. Solstice Warriors demonstrate emotional investment might negatively affect performance. Recommend action briefing.
Heading east to the Cultural Expanse and stopping off at the Cerulean Reservoir. The Cultural Expanse was pretty much a maze, and I had to dig up a circle thingy following where the green circles told me to go. Once out, we came into a place full of mist.
There's no one.
Finding the Fleshmancer's old workshop, with Roshan having a light bulb moment, and he threw a bottle on the ground which made all these ghosts appear. And apparently, the Fleshmancer was able to detach souls from their living bodies. Freaky, huh? And when Sarai suggested to speak to them, the pink one in the bottom right ran for it. The pink ghost was called Best, and apparently he was so old that he was around when the Skybase was built. Before the Skybase went all evil, it was actually used to keep the planet all lush and green. Luckily, Best wasn't just a pink gooey mess, as he actually had a way up to the Skybase and asked if he could tag along, with Roshan's prophecy of living glass maybe coming to life. For that, we needed to break into Ethereal's workshop, so Cedric came to the rescue and cracked the code. One thing though, the place wasn't empty, and we had to take out something sinister called the Abomination.
Oh my god, look at that head.
With the robot Meduso booting up.
It's alive!
Best practice for Meduso was taking down the hands first, as they were pesky little buggers. Also using Valyr's ultimate to deface the machine. And while it was drilling me, I was able to send the eagle sky high to nuke him down. With Meduso down, we headed to the workbench and Roshan started to work on his living glass. And guess what? It worked.
Oh my god. I can feel. Oh my god, this is crazy.
Best now had a body out of living glass. However, the glass was actually quite fragile, and the only way to keep it resistant is for his will to be very strong.
Then I'm invincible.
With that, Best said it was time to head to the Sacrosanct Spires, as that's where we'll be able to get the Speedball network up and running.
That's horrible. Just joins the party.
Sailing off to the Spires. Once docked up, our path was blocked by a barrier, with only being able to bring it down by song.
My man. Bro's got a great singing voice.
There was talk about some cultists inside, but Sarai cut him off and said screw it, we're going anyway.
This is a mechanical world. Very dead weapon, guys.
Also testing Best out in battle for the first time.
Huh. He's a wheel. What the fuck? What's going on?
Once we found the exit of the cave, it appeared we were being watched by a random bird, who had the ability to teleport and was one of the cultists, coming to the conclusion that they're going to set us a very enticing trap. And can I just say, anyone would fall for this trap. It's unavoidable. But because we were caught, we went flying down into a jail cell. But as it was only a wooden cell, it didn't take us long to get out. Which is when I found another bird trapped in a cage, falling for the true trap.
Really, it was that simple? No way.
Luckily, Sarai had quick enough reflexes to realise, and had to play the memory game to free us.
I'm sorry, this is like the most easiest thing in the world.
With everyone being released, Verloc thanked us for freeing him, and used his wind magic to help us escape. Apparently he couldn't join us though, but he did say he wouldn't forget this debt. However, we didn't leave, and actually climbed the tower. And while we were doing that, the cultists were chatting and they didn't seem too pleased that Verloc had been freed.
Hello, my guy.
The cultists were actually scared we came for the throne, and we did tell them that we weren't here to do that, but it didn't fly, making it battle time once again, using portal flying shifts to take out the first one, and a simple uppercut from Bist to take out the second, and something you'd do if you had portals to finish off the third.
Oh my god, oh my god, we just portaled to him, we just portaled him.
Okay, you may have not finished him off, but I did want to show it.
Goodbye, my guy.
Then we got a flashback on how Roshan got given his flight ability, and it was a gift from the Fleshmancer, but that was about it, and the cultists got Thanos snapped. For some reason though, Roshan was like, okay, I'm out, I gotta do some work, and abandoned us, leaving one of his puppets behind.
Refreshing, farewell. Roshan, no.
And just like that, he was out the party. Now that the cultists were down though, it was time to turn our attention to getting the Speedball network online, and headed for the massive tree called Estriste. The tree was holding something weird, and it was actually a massive battery that the songsters left just in case the world fell apart, with Best knocking it out the tree's hand, turning the emergency power online.
Hello, Teeks.
Sadly, even though we called dibs, Teeks beat us to it. Then she analysed Best before we hopped into the Speedball, launching ourselves into the sky. Now that we were up in the sky, it looked a whole lot different from our world. Another thing, I can't believe this place is still functional without a working elevator, because that is what I needed to fix. Clearing the floor and pressing a massive button to turn the elevator online.
Bro, we're in space.
Then there was a console cock blocking me from getting to the next door, so Sarai does what she does best.
That works.
Finding the next elevator.
Bro, what? How are we fixing clouds up here?
And there's more.
Bro, what?
Now that I was at the highest point in the station, I hope, we found a campfire, save point and a vending machine, so I kinda knew I was about to hit a boss. But with the vending machine just there, I stocked up on supplies before heading out to meet the Catalyst.
The Catalyst. Intruders in command center, engage combat mode. Oh.
So I blasted the first turret door down and used the power of the moon to take down the second, bringing me face to face with the catalyst, and used a lovely sunbeam as my opening attack. However, the power of the Eagle Nuke is unstoppable, and then I got to test out Best's ultimate attack.
Let's see his ultimate attack. Why is he growing a tree, my guy? Did he a tree drop? Oh my god. The gravity. Cement. What the? What?
After that, all it took was a nice shift to the console and the catalyst was down. Then Sarai dropped, as she had a panic attack because of what it did to her people.
Oh.
After, a ball came rolling out the catalyst, and it was the AI core. The AI core was actually a good robot, being forced to operate within the catalyst. Now we just needed to decode the machine. But sadly, the AI didn't even know how to do it. But Teeks was on it, taking out her handy dandy book with the AI core acting as an artifact, getting the blueprints for the machine. Sadly, we couldn't read it, and the Jarvis of this world said to find someone smarter, someone who liked to tinker on machines, and we knew it was right up Seal's street, so back to Clockwork Tower. And Seal agreed to help. He just needed a few days to go over the blueprints, with the kids getting to work, while we went and checked on Garl's grave.
Garl!
After a few days had passed, it was ready, but they kinda did something we hadn't planned for.
Courage, everyone together. Imagine it doesn't work. Shouldn't you leave one person behind?
When the gang turned up, no one was here, and that was because they forgot to put a handle to open the door on the inside.
Oh my god, we've got a mech.
Instead of trying to decrypt the catalyst from down here, they decided why not just do it with us up in space. So they rebuilt the catalyst and shoved themselves into one body, making a megamech, naming themselves the Artificer. Once back in space, SEAL Team 6 turned off the cloud production, reconnected the sun and the moon, bringing Zale and Valir back to full power.
The moon's just there.
It seemed I just wasn't paying attention to the story at this point, but that's okay. As long as I keep kicking Dweller butt, there's no issue.
Oh. Am I meant to block?
Starting the fight against the Dweller of Dread.
What?
Taking out the next pair of tentacles, with them dropping further below the surface.
Oh crap. Oh, okay, we keep falling. Oh, hello, my guy.
Also, I don't know what's going on with his eyes, but as he's not going to have them for much longer, I won't judge.
What? Orbital cannon. Pop.
Eventually turning him into Takoyaki, with Zale and Valir destroying his core. Now, do you remember when Zale and Valir learned to fly? Well, they did it again, but this time to put the moon back in frickin' space.
They're going to take the moon back? Unbelievable. Teamwork, nothing like it. My god. We can just fly. Woo!
With the Fleshmancer's castle being the last place to go. But before that, I had to quickly do a side quest involving a lady called the Queen That Was, because it was the only missable achievement in the game. Grabbing Joyce's belt buckle from Sarai, and listening to a story from Teeks about where to go in the Cerulean Expanse, heading northeast, southeast, northeast again, and then east. Taking me to a speedball entrance, with the destination threat level being high. Doesn't stop me though, and I made it to the throne of the Queen That Was, grabbing the Artful Gambit from a chest, as that was another missable. And while I'm here, I might as well battle the Queen That Was.
Hello, madam. Oh my god.
It's just no one told me she had 2 massive guns, and it seems she was resistant to all forms of attack.
What just happened?
With even the Sun Nuke not doing a lot.
The shot. Ah! Bro! Yes! Gun goddess is down.
With the goddess down, Cedric detected something,
I could use those. Star shards.
giving it to Sarai and getting the first piece of endgame items. Then I went around scouting the places I couldn't reach before flying.
Oh my god, it's a chest.
This is a Solstice Shrine, and there was a reason I needed to be here, but I'll save that bit for later. And the same thing goes for hitting this button and heading down into a sunken Duckerai ruin, before heading to the main event, the Fleshmancer's lair.
Aloha.
The Fleshmancer opted not to have gates on his fortress, so it looked like he was just welcoming the challenge. Inside, I blew a few crystals into place, opening up a giant mouth, then rolled a massive eyeball around before coming face to face with a man called LeJug. This Donny was a chainsaw-wielding maniac, and was also one of the Fleshmancer's top generals, so he had to go down. Sadly for him, I was just breaking his locks before he could even fight.
Hurry, ha. Oh, and he's down.
He huffed and he puffed like a sore loser before being blown away like ash, saying good luck to us in the halls of illusion, and to be fair, he wasn't wrong. With everyone around the campfire telling Valir it was time to go to sleep.
This is sus.
And I was given no option other than to fall asleep, so I went with it. I woke up finding myself back at the stonemason's outpost, being put straight to work by the mole citizen, moving some jars around, being sent for another nap.
Oh, we're struggling.
And woke back up to be a server in the Humble Boast.
Do you like fishing? Oh, not again.
Waking up again, I was forced to do some fishing in a pond, catching myself a crimson bass, handing it over to the mole citizen, and he said, hey, nice skull. Eventually though, I woke up all the way back at camp, with there being some floating orbs around, so I started to break them, shattering the illusion. Coming face to face with the sole creator, the one who created the catalyst.
Why couldn't I use the campfire? Ah, okay, we did.
But this guy liked to hide behind many of his creations and just ran away. So it was time to chase him down, where I had to break the illusion of the Humble Boast, fighting him for a second time, and then a third time in the fishing area.
While he runs away. Cool.
After, he kinda forgot he was in the middle of a pursuit, but this time he had a few henchmen called the Summoners, and they combined.
Oh my god. What the hell is that?
Forcing me to face the Phase Reaper, who didn't mind killing his own teammates, so the rest of them kind of took the hint. Again though, I have nothing really to say about these leaf monsters, they were a bit crap.
Hurry, ha. Boom!
After, the Soul Reaper started talking nonsense about how a new recruit was going to take us down a peg, but Sarai had heard enough.
Comeuppance. No!
There was talk about how to destroy this portal, but it wasn't doable, and Cedric confirmed that it would blow if we touched it, destroying the planet. But then our old caged friend turned up, telling us to step aside, and within a flash, he had destroyed the portal, which now left one more thing to do.
He's here! And that is a planet.
The Fleshmancer actually congratulated us for making it this far, but we weren't the ones who he was going to fight.
Claim your rightful place as ruler of this world. Come, Ezra Drella. Elsai Drella. Darella. Is she a horse? Yo, she's turned into a centaur. Yo! Alina, what have you become? Who dares challenge my reign? Don't you recognize us? I recognize Solstice Warriors, vermin which must be eradicated. She's completely gone. Silence, you will bow before me. Brace yourselves. I shall not bow before you. Telekinesis crash. Oh. Hammy. Ah. No, I need more power. I need more. You had the ability to do that the entire time. There's like trapped. Oh my god, that absolutely destroyed him. Ultimate heal. Woo. Boom! Elbow drop. Oh. Top lieutenant down.
And with Ezra Drella down, the Fleshmancer turned up.
Oh my. She absolutely killed her.
Roshan then appeared out of a portal and told the Fleshmancer that he had lost. But the Fleshmancer hinted at one final surprise before following Roshan.
Can you feel it?
A World Eater, and we were the only ones who could destroy it. But now Valere and Zale had finally become guardian gods, and after taking down this foe, they would most likely not get a chance to return. So they said their goodbyes to Best and Sarai, and just as they were about to go, Teeks turned up.
This is goodbye then? I guess so, Best. Wait!
And asked to put their cloaks into her magical book, before flying off into the sky to take on the World Eater.
Oh my god! Is that what World Eater is? So it wants me to kill that thing. Oh my god! First. Oh, it's like that. Super beam. Ow. It took 2 more hits. So much going on, I can't see. I was being so cocky, we actually go down. Oh, and it's the credits. Sabotage.
Then, once the credits had rolled, we found ourselves back in Mirth with a very old lady who's referred to as the High Sage.
High Sage? Teeks! Elder Teeks!
And she had some renovations to check on in the crypts.
Yes, it's perfect. The end? Question mark?
With the main story finally completed. Or was it? Now that the story was kinda finished, it was time to head on and try and power through the rest of the game to complete 100%, with the game kindly putting me back to just before beating the last boss. I currently have 25 achievements out of 43, and to confirm there are co-op and DLC ones, but I won't be completing them today. First things first though, I needed to find every single goddamn conch and chest in the game, so while doing other side quests, I'll be trying to grab them. I also turned on the Falcon Eye Parrot, which I got from handing in some conches.
So now on the left it tells us everything. Got it.
To start things off though, I still needed managers for my buildings back at Mirth. So I found our store manager in Decry Village after I was able to locate her children. Then I got a fisherman from Mooncradle who wanted to see his version of the All Blue come to life. After, I headed over to Basalt Island to fish up the lava koi and a rock shrimp.
Catch every one species at least once. Yeah.
Before speaking to Edgar back in Lucent, getting his brother a job at our inn, heading over to the Solstice Shrines next, and learned the combo move called Soonerang, knocking off a light on this weird looking shrine thingy, also stumbling across where it was located during my conch hunt in the mountain trail. The spa was then built, as it was a reward from my conch hunt, and spoke to the master fisherman to claim my reward for catching every single fish, being given my second flimsy hammer, heading over to the stonemason's outpost to help a lovely lady take a bath, with the condition she ran our spa in return. Then it was to the Autumn Hills, and learnt the final combo move called Arcane Moon.
Unlock all combos. Cool.
After, I found a turbo cookie this villain wanted, and beat the crap out of him, getting the Lucent shed key. Finding inside...
Did you come to play? Yes. Uh-oh. What the hell? Bro, what is going on?
The Quizmaster's lair, and completed his first round of questions. Now, I know I cut this out, but another thing I needed to find was the question packs, with a total of 11 to find. I didn't have them all at the moment though, so I left him, and headed to Wraith Island as that was where the last Solstice Shrine I needed was.
Oh. There is a hole.
After, I headed to the other two Sunken Decry ruins, finding Fragment B and Fragment C, using the fragments on a door, and had a scrap with the sea slug, getting an achievement and finding a chest.
It's empty.
With another light appearing on the ruins in the moorlands. Then I found Ramaya's journal, and handed it over to the Duke, with him giving me a yellow flame, which I took to the ferryman, making it to a place called the Half-Sunken Tower, where I found the very last conch I needed, also having a scrap with Ramaya again. And that was to get the Duke's locket, freeing the Duke from being Ramaya's slave, unlocking the achievement Free from Surfer Duke, with another rune turning on in the moorlands. I then headed back to the conch merchant.
Here's your last conch, good sir. Bring all the conches to Murnia.
And I was given a rainbow star, and it disappeared within seconds, lighting up the 5th ruin. After, I went to the portal that the Solstice Shrine opened and faced the Elder Mist for a second time, and experienced something I hadn't done in quite a while.
Is that game over? Shoot. The Elder Mist is down. Thank God for that. One more to go.
I then listened to the last story I needed from Teeks, which came from the Duke's locket.
And Jesus Christ. I know that was all the campfire stories, but Jesus Christ, my guy. Oh my god.
Before getting the last rune online by battling a bunch of rounds in the Colosseum that was built after Brisk was destroyed.
The Clockwork Abomination. How is this? I don't get it. How is this guy? Crystallion.
And once the Crystallion was down, he liked Best so much he decided to join him as a sidekick, and then the final rune activated. Heading over there straight away, and Best knew what the runes were. The runes were a chronophage, a parting gift from Roshan for becoming guardian gods. Only Zale and Valir and Best were allowed to go through, and we needed to play something with a deep memory to work.
Oh, the cookie jar. The cookie jar.
Being taken back in time to when Garl got shot.
We've got him.
Swapping out Best, who transformed himself into Garl, while we escaped, saying he could take the blast and live.
Is that? It's Garl.
Yep, we had successfully rescued Garl, but before we could celebrate the reunion, we had a grave to dig up, with Garl and Best finally meeting for the first time. And when coming back from the dead, for some reason, Garl was granted one wish. I don't know how, but okay. Telling us his wish around the campfire that night.
Dinner with all my friends at the Golden Pelican.
He was also given the Hook of Time, and the only place it could be used was Sleeper Island.
Oh, we've got it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yo.
Inside the cave, I found the last chest I needed to find, and found a pond with a massive fish inside.
Welcome on, my guy.
The fish here with a cool ass bubble pipe is called Chef Bass, and he's the owner of the Golden Pelican. He said that Garl's wish would be granted, with Garl requesting 12 seats for the banquet. He gave us a reservation, and at the Golden Pelican, we handed the reservation over to Gasper.
Welcome to the Golden Pelican. Did you have a reservation for today? Yes, we do.
With everyone being forced to dress up.
Look at the crab!
And had Chef Bass as our personal chef. Then everyone went around the room giving toasts and kissing Garl's ass.
To Garl. To Garl. Even I've got my cup up to Garl.
Unlocking the achievement, Wholesome Food, after I had to fork out $2 grand to give everyone a spa treatment.
Why is he in there with his backpack, man?
Getting the achievement, Me Day. Then it was time to take down all the Wheels champions, with the final boss being the Watchmaker.
He's going down.
Unlocking the third Flimsy Hammer, and got the achievement, Clockwork Champion. Heading back to the Quizmaster afterwards to complete all 11 question packs with the Quizmaster.
True or false, Horizon's computer companion is called Cedric. No!
It is Cedric, they just spelt it differently, the cheeky buggers.
Sapphire. Achieve pro rank in every single quiz question. I didn't need to do the casual, oh well.
After that, I had to cook every single recipe one time.
Oh, we've got them all. Alright, all recipes are done at least once.
Finally turning our attention to the final act.
Hello, my guy.
Before he was able to call on Ezendrella, Garl intervened. With the Fleshmancer being shocked, deciding to stay.
Eternal pain awaits. Let's go! What? Bro, what tapped her? What the fuck is happening, my guy? Jump, 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 jump. Rubber's flying. You're white. Who said this was a good idea? Super beam! No! I was so close! Wasn't that it? Oh, was that not it? Oh, you're joking. Down he goes. Please say that's it. What? Finally! Praise the Lord! You out? Oh my god, Garl! And then here, Roshan! Roshan, you traitor!
Wait. Is that it?
What?
What? It's so dumb.
I wasn't taking the ending very well though. Still, I had a World Eater to take down, with Zale and Valir promising to visit Garl on his birthday every year.
Like one word. Oh, do I have to fight him again? Oh, I can't be asked for this.
And with the Fleshmancer finally taken down, we got the true ending.
Who the hell is this guy? Oh my god! It's him!
Being brought back down to Mirth with Teaks, before heading back to the crypts to look at the renovations.
Girl. This old girl.
And today was a special day, as it was the warrior cook's birthday, so we rode Wentworth to the gang's favourite spot in Mooncradle, and they were able to reminisce about the past once more.
Oh, don't be shy. Where's my birthday hook? Finn.
As much as I would like to end on that note, I do have one more achievement to get, and that was What a Technique, which I had to defeat 10 bosses with the Artful Gambit.
Full gambit on.
The Artful Gambit basically reduces my health by 95%, but every time I blocked, I'll take 1 damage, and if I timed my hits well, it'll do double damage. I had also unlocked New Game Plus when I beat the game the first time, so I was able to go into the world as level 21. It took 5 hours, but nothing too shabby.
Go on, beat it.
Yes! It's got it. Thank fuck.
But that's how I completed 100% of the Sea of Stars bar DLCs.